When that comes back, then you can now refine your therapeutic paradigm, and then you can test it out. And you run through your proof of concept, your critical experiment, and really refine where your product is. And then you go to what I call your financing evaluation. And that's where you actually do a business plan that includes your thoughts about capital structure, some projections about, okay, what's it going to cost me to build this thing? What's it going to cost me to get this to market, manufacture it? And then what's it going to cost me to sell it? And what are people going to pay for it? And from that, you can figure out, how am I going to exit this? Am I going to build a business? Am I going to go public? Am I going to be acquired by somebody else? Or am I going to wander around as the living dead because I didn't think these things through before I got there? Right? And always continually think about two things. One is the success of your technology. I mean, we all love technology, don't we? I mean, we just love it. And, I love to see technology work. But also make sure that the technology works in the application that you have it for. Make sure it works as a clinical or a market success. And then use that in your business opportunity analysis to make a go, no-go decision about moving forward. Once you're there, you can get your preclinical proof of concept done, prioritize your development based on clinical needs, the right market to go after, whether it's adequately sized, whether it's growing, what your technology development pathway looks like. And when I talk about things like adequate market size, think about not just the market size for what you're trying to solve, the clinical need out there or whatever the need you're going after, but think about what your funding sources want. All these people that do funding of ideas and companies, venture capitalists we call them, I know there are a couple in the room here, they like to go where the herd is gone. If everybody is funding a certain thing, they're more likely to fund you if you are in that space. So when something's hot, that's one of the places it's always good to be. And then you complete your business plan and you raise your financing and move it as fast as you can. Now, if possible, once you've completed your preclinical work and you're ready, raise enough money to do some feasibility clinical work so that you have a value step-up milestone. So if you can show that this actually works in the people that you really want to focus on, in the group of patients or in the disease state or in the surgical application that you want to work on, you have made a step forward in showing value. That's a valuation step up, and you're much more likely to get your money at a higher value. So you want to try to always move toward showing that you have higher value as you move forward. Clearly a way to do that is to show feasibility in a clinical situation. So this approach, in summary, is a detailed situation analysis that matches clinical needs to technology in that order. It is strategic business planning, market needs identified and characterized, product requirements document prepared, milestones laid out, and structure and financing strategy to optimize the outcome. And you have to think of what you want as an optimal outcome. That's really up to you and your advisors. But again, I emphasize, it is market-driven, technology agnostic. So keep yourself as wide open to technology as you can, as long as you can. And that's how you get the hockey stick at the end of the rainbow. Because by doing this, you increase your probability of success, you build a company that solves a real problem, you protect your value, the founder's value. It's technology supported, not technology focused. And from the other side, from the people that are investing in your development, they like it because it allows them to have an efficient investment mechanism into medical startups. They like that better, so you have a much better chance of getting financed. But the challenges, I told you we were going to talk about challenges, so let's talk about some of the challenges you're going to face. And as I mentioned, we'll talk about some of the inherent across startups and some of them that trend across industries. I'll focus on some of this on the U.S., but it really is a pretty general issue. And, some of them you need to go over, and some of them you need to go around. And so we'll keep talking about how you focus on those kinds of questions. There are funding challenges. There are the challenges of how you're starting to put this company together. There may be only one or two of you, and you've never done this before, so you have a weak or an experienced management team. You end up not getting to your development time scales the way you thought you would, either because you were overly optimistic or you're inefficient in your product development. There are always going to be regulatory approval challenges, and it's only getting worse. It never gets better, trust me. I've been at this for 30 years, and the regulatory process has only gotten more and more complex and more difficult. And now on top of that, you end up with having to go through the reimbursement on top of regulatory. And then at the end, if you haven't always kept your eye on the market, it changes or it turns out not to be as expected. So you figure out your market here, then you start working on your technology and you're having a great time for 4 or 5 years. You've got all this money. All of a sudden now you're almost out of money, but your technology works. You go out there and the market has gone off over here. What do you do? What do you do? So you've always got to stay on top of that part of it too. Now, when we start a company, we all think, I can get this done 25 million, 15 million, might cost me 50 million. Trust me, it's going to cost you 150 million at least. It might cost you more than that before your cash flow break even. So as you start to think about what company you're going to build, you have to start thinking about the fact that the company you build has to be making enough money that somebody is going to open their wallet and give you $150 million, and that they're going to be able to make a return on that, given the fact that you have a chance of failing. So, again, make sure that you can articulate why they should do this. It's not because this is a cool technology, it's because it solves a real problem. Obtaining initial funding. That's always a challenge, and especially these days where seed funds and what we call angels or individuals who are willing to invest in early stage companies are becoming more and more difficult to find. That's why having a place like CSII, where there's a group of people that come together and try to bring funding sources together with people with ideas, is so important. We talked about the regulatory pressures.